Let me introduce myself. I'm Terry Flynn. I'm the owner of Flynn Pianos. This is our workshop showroom. There's a big workshop back there as well. And we have a home showroom, ground floor of my home in Great Barrington. Um, that's if you have any questions about pianos, the piano business, or my business, give me a holler, and we can talk anytime you want. But I'm delighted to have Yvonne here to play again on this wonderful piano that he makes such great music with. So I'm going to turn it over to him. Yvonne, you're on.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I'm gonna. So where is the mic? Here, right? Okay. So this is not the first time that we do this event here, Terry Flynn, right?
Right.
We did
Third or fourth.
the fourth time, I believe, and it's a big pleasure for me because in this piano shop there are very beautiful pianos that you usually don't play around. Even a very famous piano player, it's difficult to have a Bosendorfer to play on it and to have fun with it. So, and usually when you go in concerts, pianos are not very, very good. But in a piano shop, pianos are very good and always tuned.
That's right. That's right.
They're always tuned because to tune a piano, you need time. Actually, you have to take care of the piano, And many pianos, when they rent the pianos, for concerts, are a little bit damaged, a little bit, you never know what you're gonna have. Here you have always beautiful pianos because Terry he loves his job. And he's a nice person too. And yeah, that's why I'm here, and I'm very happy to be here. So I'm gonna start to play something, and then Terry is gonna tell us something about the piano that we don't know, okay? The skeleton of the piano, right? Yes. And so I'm gonna do an improvisation now. Pictures. I'm gonna do some pictures for you, okay? I'm gonna paint pictures with the music. Let's say like that.
Cell phones off, everybody.
Yeah, cell phones off, please. That's correct. Mine is off. I'm gonna even put it here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So we're at the Christmas time, right? And I'm not wrong with that, right? So I'm gonna. So this one was just an improvisation. Well, mostly I'm gonna improvise tonight. Um, that's the favorite thing that I like to do it. Um, and now I'm gonna play a very ancient melody from my region. I believe it's all South Italy. Yes, it's all South Italy. It's probably a song from 400 years ago. It's a Christmas song where the original version is probably 20 minutes. There is a long text about the God, Jesus, sorry, that Jesus has to born and he has to drink a lot of wine, he has to be drunk of love, and all the most beautiful things to this new baby that is coming soon. And so I did an arrangement years ago that is very different, that does look like Christmas. But on the piano, I like to play the melody that you can recognize. I mean, you don't know the song, but who knows the song can recognize immediately. And then I'm going to do some variations on it, all right? Rock and roll Jesus Christ and whatever. Beauty is beauty, music is music, so everything is good. And so Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you.
Got a bit, I have a little bit of melancholy. I'm far away from my country. So, but I'm lucky because I'm gonna have Italian food, Christmas Eve, and also at Christmas, and also New Year's Eve. So, I'm lucky this year. So, Terry, you wanna come 2 minutes here?
Sure.
A few minutes? So yeah, Terry is the piano doctor, right? And so can you tell us a little bit what is this piano?
Sure. This is a piano made in Vienna, Austria in 2020. Some of you may have heard the name Bösendorfer. They always put it on the side of the piano now, so the TV cameras and the audience can see it. And it's one of the mid-18th century, 19th century pianos, established really around the 1830s or 40s. And it set the standard, one of the top pianos in Europe. Actually, it was the top piano in Europe until the late 1800s when Steinway developed their factory in Hamburg, Germany. And then almost 100 years later, Fazioli in Italy developed a competing piano. Every bit as good as this or the Steinway. And they're the three top pianos in the world are made in Germany, Austria, and Northern Italy. Have you performed on the Fazioli?
I've been in the Fazioli factory.
Oh!
Yes.
Can I touch you again?
I've been in Fazioli factory and I played the oldest Fazioli. It's a little bit older than me.
What, 1970 or something?
No, 82, 83. Yeah. Yeah, and it's,
yes.
even the room, they never moved that piano from that room. Never. Then, it's like playing something very, very, very special. Yes.
Each of these makers has a very different approach to pianos, except that they're all trying to make the best possible piano at the hell of cost. So they're all over $200,000, $200,000 to $300,000 for these concert grands. Concert grand meaning it's 9 feet and it's made to the very highest standards. So very few people can afford them. Only the great record companies and the great concert halls or very rich people buy these pianos.
The oligarchs.
The oligarchs. So one of my clients is an oligarch. He bought 3 of these at once.
You see? I was not wrong.
Exactly.
Oh, oligarchs, gangsters, probably.
He just got in the mood. He was in Berlin, and he made a deal to buy 3 of these at once. Well, they're of consecutive serial numbers, and he brought them back to Putney, Vermont. Anybody heard of Putney, Vermont? Well, there's a summer concert series, chamber music series, at what's called the Yellow Barn. So he bought 3. One went in his personal studio, and it was never used. 2 of them went on stage with 3 or 4 Steinway 9-foot grands. One of them was abused. This one they barely touched. So he decided he had enough of these. He had enough Bösendorfers. He wanted to sell them. I immediately sold the one that had never been touched at all. It was in the studio. And then he said, I would like to sell one of the ones at the concert hall. So I looked at the 2. One was terrible. It had just been abused. I wouldn't have anything to do with it. But this...
Some vodka inside.
It was just... Everybody had done all this crazy stuff inside.
Yeah.
But this one was so close to being perfect. We spent a couple weeks on it to get it back up to standard. So this is the way a Bösendorfer concert grand is supposed to sound and feel like. One of the things that's especially good about them, and Yvonne can testify to this, is the action. They're the fastest, most responsive actions of all 3, the Steinway, Fazioli.
Yes.
Would you say this is a more responsive action?
Well, it depends on the singular piano, that.
No, this particular piano.
This one is beautiful, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the action. It's very, it responds very immediately, you know,
Yeah.
and it's more easy to play. It's more easy to play.
You said something cute the last time. You said you just think of a note and it plays.
Yes. You think about note and the piano already played that note. Yeah, it's true. So sometimes you have to work hard to play, right? To get the sound from it. But when the piano is good, you know, it's like a good car. And it goes, you can turn it.
Step on the gas.
Yes, you can do whatever you want. That's right. So this one, how long is it? 9 foot.
Well, yeah, to be precise, it's 9 feet 2 inches. But who's counting?
9 feet to 2 inches.
9 feet 2 inches. Those 2 inches really make.
I got sunglasses. I didn't see the 2 inches. I didn't see the 2 inches. So this one, how old is it?
4 years.
4.
4, yes.
Just 4 years old.
That's right.
Wow. And that's very, you know, yeah. 40 years old, man. Let me play again.
You can play some more.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yvonne, do you have enough water?
Yes.
Good.
Sir? I think, yeah, I still have water.
Oh, let me take your glasses.
So you can't see. Was finished. You were right.
Grazie.
Grazie a te.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's go water for you.
Thank you. So here today we have also Stephen Blum is recording this session.
Stephen over here.
Stephen over here. Thank you, Stephen. And yeah, Stephen proposed me to record, and he brought his microphones and a computer and everything. And then we have also Joe Fusha, right? Joe. Joe Fusha, the camera. And we did this morning, he did interview me, right?
Yes, CTSB.
CTSV channel
Lee.
in Lee. Yes, probably you know it. I didn't, because I'm an indigen from another, a little bit far away from here.
I have to remind people in Lee a lot too.
Oh, really? You have to? No, I know Lee. I know Lee. I was here 2 years ago. I was in the Berkshires all summer. Lucky me. I didn't have a home in New York. I was having a little bit of funky times, hard times, and the Berkshires adopt me. And I was lucky that the Berkshires, could happen somewhere else, but happened here. So I played the last song that I played. It's an Italian famous song called Estate from Bruno Martino, and it's also a jazz standard. Became a jazz standard, but it's a song from the '60s. And the previous song that I played too is also an Italian song made by Ornella Vanoni and Vinicius de Moraes. Vinicius de Moraes was a big songwriter from Brazil. I think I keep improvising something else, and then I'm gonna do some more. I'm gonna ask some more things to Terry, if you agree.
I agree.
Right?
Whatever
Okay.
you say, Ivan.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm still in a Christmas mood. So, Terry, come here a few minutes. I want to ask you something.
Sure.
Because here nobody knows how this piano player is playing this piano. I mean, everybody knows that you close yourself in a room, you study, you go to the teacher slaps you, you go back home, you study more, then you go back to the teacher again, bam, 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 you say, okay, I got you. You go back home, and you do this for years and years and years, and then you slap yourself to do what you have to. Now, all this thing is very, very, very easy to understand, right? You go to the teacher, or if you gypsy, you don't need to go to the teacher. You just watch, and then you play. And but how this piano plays? I mean, here we got 88 keys, black and white. I mean, you said it's black and white. I should believe you. Black and white keys, and just 88. And then we see around 200 and how many strings?
It varies the piano. It's in the low 200s.
Yeah, low 200s, because some pianos, they have more, the big bass. Well, you should explain. So, explain a little bit about the strings, about the components of this piano. How many of them there are?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to count because there are these important pieces. Stay right where you are. Don't move. I'll show you. I'm going to give Ivan one to hold in his hands. Ivan, right your hand. This is the repetition.
Yes.
This is the key invention in the piano. This is the mechanism that really makes it all work. This was invented by an Italian, of course. I've heard the original version of this. And this is what allows the player to go from piano to forte, from soft to loud. This invention created pianoforte, gave the keyboard player a choice. Every finger can give a different volume, and the piano becomes much more expressive. Prior to the invention of this, in the early 1600s, by Cristofori, or is it
Cristofori.
Cristofori. I always get the accent on the wrong so.
Yeah. It's irregular this time. That's why you didn't know it. Cristofori.
And this made a keyboard instrument into a much more expressive instrument. Before that, it was a harpsichord. A little quill plucked a string, and you got the same volume whether you played it hard or soft. Then there's the organ, the king of instruments, which is another world entirely. But still, the touch of the key doesn't affect whether the note is loud or soft on an organ. It just actuates the air flowing through the bellows to the various pipes. So whether it's loud or soft depends on how many pipes you have engaged. So, but the piano forte, which we know now as the piano,
Finally, dynamic.
has this dynamic range, very subtle, infinitely variable, from a whisper to cacophony. And this we consider one part, but there are actually more than 12 pieces in this one thing I'm holding in my hand. Little bits of felt, leather, metal, many different pieces of wood and cloth. So that's why you can see estimates from anywhere from 10,000 to 20,000 parts in a piano. This is not meant to impress you. Just
10 to 20,000.
and I can pass it around, guy.
Yes, please.
Just pass it around.
Because it's nice to see the present, but the present is the piano, right? It's the present that the engineer made for us.
Yes, exactly. And it's a factory system now. Back in those days, it was all craft work. In the early days of Bösendorfer and Steinway, it was a craft business. A small group of masters putting the whole thing together in a kitchen. The first Steinway was made in Steinway family's kitchen.
Yeah,
That's it.
I believe you.
But he had a fan to eat songs, but still, that's where they made the piano. Nowadays, it's all factory.
Let's say that until I was a kid, until globalization, right, started, we had many small factories around Europe.
Yeah.
In Italy, there were a lot. And then, with globalization became like probably 5, 6 main factories, and all the small ones are gone.
Yeah.
So we have, right, the Japanese factories are the good commercial and bad commercial, right? But I believe that the Japanese, they have most of the market, right?
Well, the Yamaha is a Japanese piano. It's a good grade B piano, not in competition with this.
No.
Although Yamaha owns Bösendorfer.
I know. Now Yamaha.
All they did was supply tens of millions of dollars so Bösendorfer could improve their pianos. But there's nothing Japanese about this.
No.
There's nothing Yamaha about it except Yamaha money. So it's a really good thing for Bösendorfer.
Yeah, to have Yamaha money and Bösendorfer sign it.
Exactly.
That's good. Yeah.
But piano manufacturing is all factory business. Yeah.
So you have to imagine that all these 10, 20,000 pieces, they have to work together. And the piano tuner has to be very patient and very precise because, a millimeter, it's a lot, right?
That's the maximum tolerance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A millimeter is a lot. For us, when we say millimeter, we say, millimeter. We even don't count a millimeter. For him, a millimeter is like, it's going to change my day. That's right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Let me show you something, Ivan.
Yes.
When you press a key down,
Yes.
there's this moment of aftertouch. I know every pianist knows about aftertouch.
Yes.
They press a key down, it goes, and it's actuating the hammer. Then there's this little bit of free motion at the bottom. It's essential to artistic piano playing. This little bit of what's called aftertouch. It's a half a millimeter.
Really?
If it's 1 millimeter, the piano feels sloppy, and doesn't feel responsive. So this is adjusted to exactly half a millimeter. That little aftertouch. Every pianist feels it. It's an important part of their playing, but it has to be adjusted to that level. So that's what concert piano technicians do. We do the technical bit. Then Ivan and his ilk
enjoys it.
Make music. But the machine has to do it. It has to be ready for them to do their magic. They really make the music. We just get the piano to work right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And you were saying about before it's called pianoforte, right? Because it plays soft and hard.
Yep.
Actually, this one, if you consider the piano as a synthesizer, right? The organ also was a synthesizer, right? Was one of the first synthesizers. But this boy here, it's because he's dynamic, it changed a lot. The music, the European classical music, changed a lot. And for the first 40, 50 years, Bach didn't like this one.
No, it was a pretty crappy instrument.
No, because at the beginning it was like, I'm not going to play that thing. I'm going to stay with the harpsichord that has its limits, but I guess it's was already working as an instrument.
Yeah.
This one at the beginning was not so. And then, it's like, I always make this joke about DJs. So the piano players were a little bit like the DJs of that time. Yeah. Because today you call one guy and plays all the song with one record, right?
Right.
Before, instead to call the quartet, string quartet, quintet, whatever, we call the piano player.
Symphony.
Exactly. And with the piano, you can do what a string quartet does it. So I think they hated piano players at the beginning.
Took all their work.
Took all their work about string quartets. Look at that guy, he's just playing one piano. He robs our job. And this is how technology goes. Even when something very beautiful like piano That's it. You know, it's sometimes, I don't know what is the limit, but who knows? We will see. So I'm going to play something more and then we're going to have a glass of wine.
Good.
Are you agree?
Yes.
Yes?
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Have your water. Just want to say a few words.
Tell me, how did you start
You all know
start
there's
your
wine,
performing? How did you get
cheese,
started?
crackers, and
Playing
some
piano, you mean?
chocolate
Yes.
chip.
Studying music.
Yes.
Well, it's
Help
easy. My
yourselves
mother and my
if you
father,
have
they
any
were
questions
trying to
about
find
pianos.
something to let me
Talk
stay
to
on
me
the
if you have
chair
questions about music.
because I
Talk
was
to me about
always
it.
jumping around, right? Trying to do
If
the
you want
things that all
someone,
the other
just
kids,
leave.
they would do it. And so they thought to buy a little piano, and I start to, to have to study music, to do piano private lessons. But at the beginning, I was a kid. I was 8, 9 years old. I didn't want to study. I wanted to go on a skateboard or on a bicycle. But then at 11 years old, I don't know what happened. I fall in love with music, and I decided at 11 years old that my life would be a music life, and that's it.
So, what was the most difficult thing for you to transition to while you were learning?
Well, let's say that I had difficulty with the composition because then I could not, if I would write music in Braille, yeah, that's the alphabet that we use, right? With that you touch with your hands, you cannot see with your eyes, right?
Yes.
It's for blind people. So there I had problems, but not with the piano. With the piano, it's touching and hearing. That's like a comfort zone for us. But then with the composition, the situation became a little bit more complicated. I had to find the right technology to start to write music, and I did it. I found a little nerd, blind guy too, in Florence. And he taught me how to use DAWs, so music program. And so now today I'm doing my second movie soundtrack, and I do audio productions, and I write music, and I produce music.
Talk about the movie soundtracks.
So I did a movie soundtrack of a movie, an Italian movie. They're both Italians, and the first movie came out 2 years ago, or probably 1 year ago. Yes, 1 year ago, in India, in the festival of Goa. That is the biggest festival of Asia, and it's on Amazon Prime, these kind of platforms, and was not easy because I said no, I'm gonna do it alone, and some friends, they told me, it can be difficult for you to do it. At the end, I did it. We managed to do it, me and the production. And then the second one that I'm working right now, I decided to involve a friend of mine as an assistant, and he does soundtracks for movies and documentaries since 20 years, so he has experience, plus he can see, so it made my life a lot easier. And otherwise it's going to be, frustrating,
Right. Well, I guess the thing about when you're doing the movie thing, somebody had to read you the script. You have to know what you're writing to, right?
Yeah.
And so that was the thing. They probably said this part is drama, this part is love. I don't know. I mean, there's got to be,
right. Yeah. You have a little structure, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know that there the music has to be drama, there is fast, there is a problem, there is happy. But then on the screen happen so many things. Now there is a close shot, and now there is these two people, they look in them eyes, and and something happened. So somebody has to tell you. There are so many details that you need eyes to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me about how'd you get into performing, and what's your act like?
So I start to perform in clubs in Naples. I'm from Naples, Italy, South Italy. When I was 17, 18, I started to play in clubs, starting like 11, midnight, finishing probably at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then the day after at school. And I was doing more like Balkan music, was playing with accordion. And then also traditional music from Italy. You know, I had this kind of bands at the beginning because I love traditional music from my country and from South Europe. It's, you know, it's beautiful. There is a lot of a lot of music to enjoy. And then I started to do piano solo. I do piano solo probably since almost 20 years, a little bit less than 20, probably 17. And then, you know, and then I had different bands. I do here in New York, mostly I play in New York City. I have an Italian show, music and storytelling show. It's about Italian culture. But let's say that the Italian culture is an excuse to talk about humanity and history and geography and, you know, and then music, songs, and fun. And then I have a South African jazz quartet, a duo with a guitar player. We played here in Lannex this summer. And then I do many piano solos in restaurants, hotels. I do play, you know, Italian music, Brazilian music, rock songs, all rearranged. I'm not a guy that is an expert of that kind of music, of the other kind of music. I always try to do everything is on my way. This is how my brainy works.
Okay. So how do you, when you perform, how do you talk to the audience? What do you try to give them right now? I mean.
Well, I try to give a good mood and informations about history, about culture, because I think that more we know about what happened in the history, and more we don't follow strange stuff, and we are less afraid of differences if we know the differences. So that's my goal, you know. I can suffer about differences on my skin because I'm blind, you know. People always talk to me in another way, trying to don't offend me, trying in a good way, you know. It's not because in a bad way, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and I always try to talk about differences because that's important. If we talk about differences, we are not afraid anymore of somebody that looks different or has another religion, or he's just has an handicap, you know, as a whatever, disability, blind, or on a wheelchair, or deaf, you know, whatever. Yeah, so that's my goal. So, using irony, yeah, I'm an ironic person.
Oh, irony. Yeah.
Irony, yeah, I like jokes. I like jokes. Don't never take yourself very serious, otherwise.
Yeah, I hear you.
Otherwise, it's gonna be complicated.
So, the music you're performing is all your own tonight.
So the music I'm going to do, tonight, you have to know that it's a very special place for piano players. Why? Because it's a piano shop. And our tragedy is that you never have good pianos when you play in a venue. I mean, you have to be Herbie Hancock, but nobody is Herbie Hancock. Herbie Hancock is Herbie Hancock. So usually, mostly of the piano players, they always play bad piano. So I met this guy, Terry Flynn. He's a very sweet person and a very good piano tuner, meticulous, how you say? You know, precise, very precise. He loves his job. He loves his pianos. And you can see the way how he talks about pianos. So I said, let's do a performance here in the piano shop. And so tonight I'm going to play on a Grand Bosendorfer. That, believe me, it's very difficult to play on a Bosendorfer because it costs $280,000. It's not a joke. So it's, and for me, it's like when I go there, I don't say what I play. I just start to play the piano because you can enjoy all the dynamic. You can play legato, staccato. You can do whatever you want on that piano. It's a perfect machine. So probably I'm gonna improvise. I'm gonna improvise on some Christmas songs. I'm gonna do some improvisation on some classical music. I really want to be free when I'm in his piano shop, because that's, for me, is like a kindergarten for piano players.
Now, when you play, will you sit for a good half hour, 45 minutes to get a feel for it?
A little bit, yes. I prefer to play a little bit before, to feel the piano, to feel the keyboard, because every piano has a keyboard. It's like a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has a feeling. Every piano has a feeling. So you should play a little bit before of it to get prepared, to be prepared.
Right. Now, do you sing?
A little bit. I'm still not, you still cannot pay me for an entire concert as a singer, but I'm about to find a voice trainer. I quit smoking more than a month ago, and I'm very proud of that, because it's difficult for a smoker to quit smoking cigarettes. It's not easy. In Europe, we still smoke, you know that. Mm-hmm. And but the fact that in America they cost so much money helped me to quit.
Absolutely, but the European cigarettes are better. I know Canadians.
Yes, I even brought it from Italy, but then I sold it. I said, no cigarettes anymore. I had to be Nazi with myself, only with myself.
How does the audience respond to I mean, I guess different audiences, they'll be smaller, bigger, but how do they respond? I mean, do you have anything special? Do you feel them when you're out there?
Yeah, I try the first 5 minutes to check out the audience, what they want to hear, and what they, if they're shy, if they're not shy, if they're more empathic, they're a very different audience. And so now I did a concert in Somerville, in nearby Boston, and I didn't know, which kind of audience I would have. And after the second song, I understood what they want. So yeah, sometimes I check them out first, and then I give them, I try to drive them and me in the same way.
So every show might be a little different. You don't go in there with a theme, or?
I go there with the structure.
Yes.
With the structure, but then, sometimes you never know. It's like if I'm in a theater, I do what I want, and you just, you sit there and you listen to me, right? Mm-hmm. But if I am in a restaurant, in a hotel, sometimes people want to listen to you, sometimes they don't want to. Yeah, so I see that if I push and they clap, that means that they want to be part of it. I push it more, right? So that's the way how you feel the audience. So
Now, do you play mostly in the East?
Yeah, New England, mostly Berkshire. Berkshire is my second home, because for different reasons I remained without home in New York City for a few months, and I was going around with a friend of mine, Bob, from here, from Pittsfield, and he showed me the Berkshire. He said, "Brother, you have here there are very good people. You can have a good time in the Berkshire." It's true. I met very kind people in this county, and people love me and take care of me, and so that's why I always come back. More or less once every month, every 2 months, I come back. I have a performance, and then I sleep over, stay with some friends, and have a break from the city, because New York City, it's stressy.
Yes. So you play in the city, you play some bars, or?
I play in the city every week.
Nightclubs,
restaurants. Now I got a nice place. It's a famous place, Russian Samovar, on Monday. And then I have the Ivy Room in the Royalton Hotel at Rooftop with a very good guitar player. I got to do with Dominic James. He's very good. And then an Italian restaurant, the 29th, and 2 gigs on New Year's Eve. Yeah, American restaurant and then Italian restaurant. Actually, Napolitan restaurant.
So what do you play at home? What kind of piano do you have at home?
For now, until now at home, actually now I got my apartment finally last month. So I'm not gonna move from that home. I don't have to, so I can plan to have a real piano. For now I have a keyboard with weighted keys.